Geocachomaniacs.
GeoGearHeads.
Welcome to GeoGearHeads episode number 274. Now, if you haven't been listening to GeoGearHeads, first of all, you have no idea what you're missing, and you are missing out. This is a podcast where we talk about geocaching and geolocation games, as well as different pastry items each and every week. I am Chris of the Northwest with our host, Daryl W4.
Hey, it's good to be back, Chris. This is going to be a fun show because I want to say that it was about 4 or 5 months ago that we had Rock Chalk on talking about something, and we got into this rat hole of donuts. So that's how this all started. So we had to invite Rock Chalk back. So it's been, 4 or 5 months since we booked this with you?
Yeah, I've got a calendar where I just cross off the days as we get closer, ever since that day when you told me we were going to do the show. And it's like, finally, it's like having an advent calendar. And I'm like, finally, it's time for the donut episode.
It's time to talk about the donuts.
You don't have to wait anymore.
No, but we had to have a representative from the great northern state up there. Right? State? Where Timbits lives? The Timbits live up north.
Oh, the country larger than yours? Yes.
Yes. Yes, with fewer people and more Timbits.
Yes, we probably have more Timbits per capita than any other country in the world.
Mm-hmm. Which means you guys win.
Sorry, which means which?
You guys win.
Sure. Okay.
Land Monkey and the entire the entire country of Canada win because they have more Timbits per person.
Right. Well, I want to actually thank you for having me on the show, and I know that if you hadn't arranged with Chris to have him on the show first and not told him that I was going to be on the show, then there's no way I would have made it on. So thank you for sneaking me in and surprising Chris with one of his mortal enemies. It's great.
Well, let's not go crazy there, Jay. It's a very distinct group of people that are on that list, and
I haven't made that.
It's actually only one person. So you haven't crossed. No, I like you a lot more than that person. So
even though you get emails every time there's a contest from geocaching.com that doesn't include Canada.
No comment.
Yeah, that's well, hey, from what I understand, 2 of us haven't gotten Timbits from Land Monkey, and so I'm feeling a little left out. So if he were to deliver on Timbits at some point, then I would my feelings toward you would improve greatly.
All right.
From what they already are. I mean, as they are, they're pretty high. You're up there.
All right. That's awesome, Chris. Thanks. And I will make you a public personal guarantee. The next time I'm invited to come down and do some interviews at Geocaching HQ, I will come armed with enough Timbits for everybody at HQ.
Well, let's not get crazy. You just need enough for me. Let's not wait. Because even if you bring enough for everybody, I'm going to take them all probably. So yeah, that's let's just keep this between the 4 of us, okay?
Good thing nobody else from HQ ever listens to this podcast.
Twice. Yeah.
By the way, Limax says the Q on your shirt looks like a donut.
You know what? It probably does the way it's kind of... There we go. It's a little more... Got to tighten it up. Yeah.
Well, let's start off with the feedback that we got from our very creative audience members. And I'm very happy to say every one of you who wrote in and made it on the show has received a prize. most of them got the Project GC 180-day memberships. So congratulations, all of you. You've already got those codes. And then 2 of them, and we'll mention them in a little bit, received a couple of different GeoCoins. So we'll talk about them when we get to those. But thank you very much, Project GC and coinsandpins.com, for giving us all of those cool gifts. So let's start off with Wet Coaster, who emailed, when you're near ground zero, you end up going around and around and around. And he calls himself Lieutenant Commander Obvious because he was in the Naval Reserves.
As opposed to Captain Obvious?
Exactly.
Yeah, and you know that I knew as soon as we put out that call that we were going to get that. So that's why it's obvious.
Lieutenant Commander Obvious?
Yes.
That's what we were going to get?
No.
Okay.
That you go around in circles like a donut.
And around and around and around. With the cash right there in the middle, which you never seem to get to.
Yeah.
That cash just turns me right round, baby.
I hope this goes on like this for an hour. This will be amazing. Let's just keep a scoreboard of the puns. Let's just keep a pun scoreboard. We'll be racking them up tonight.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this, in case anyone missed it, this is our April Fool show this year. So not totally off the wall like we've tried some previous years, but
no time
hopefully
travel.
A lot more fun. No time travel this time.
All right.
Depends on when you're listening to this episode.
Ooh, good point. Because
always
I guess
an element of time travel. Yes.
Yeah. Well, and if you're watching this live, then I guess you're actually watching in the future since this doesn't get released until tonight.
Right.
Well, and if you have a Danish as opposed to a donut, it's very similar to the infinity symbol. So, a little bit of a time travel reference there.
We don't have time to talk about the time. There's just not enough time.
Okay. Well, speaking.
Did anybody think of was I the only one that thought of Caddyshack when Jay just talked about donuts and danishes?
Yes. I
Yeah.
totally missed that.
You were the only one.
But please do tell.
Oh no, it's one of the great scenes from Caddyshack where Chevy Chase is heaping wisdom on Danny on one of the greens, and he's just it's stupid. I can't do it justice the way Chevy Chase did it. But yeah, if you ever watch Caddyshack, there's a mention of donuts and danishes, and that's all I can say about it.
So Netflix is going to get a run on Caddyshack in the next. All right, sounds good, man.
Limax in the chat is suggesting a Danish donut. I think he has a winner there.
It'd be a Danish. A Daynut?
A daynut. I like that.
A Donish. How about a Donish?
Kind of like the cronut, but
Cronut?
They have a isn't it a dosant?
Yeah,
no, that's the
at Legendary Donuts, Chris. Don't they have one of those?
Yeah, it's like the cronut.
Yeah, the
it's
cronut
really
is
good.
actually, I think, trademarked or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone was coming out with the cronuts for a while, and then they had to change names.
Right, yeah.
A cronut, do you use that to break into a car?
That'd be a crowbar.
Oh,
They're longer.
I could use those for some of the ammo cans.
That'd be a maple crowbar.
okay. Oh, cronuts. Sorry, cronuts are where crows come from.
All right, Jay, why don't you read the next, it's actually multiple emails from Starcasher.
Read the next section. Okay. Hey, so Starcasher writes in and says, here is a dozen reasons to start things out. I love it because donuts come in dozens. That's so clever. All right. So reason number 1, both will make you a well-rounded person. Get it? Well-rounded. Yeah. Number 2, both involve endlessly going around in circles while trying to avoid the big hole. That's what she said. Number 3, both sometimes getting done. Number 4, both can provide a break on a hectic day. Everything all right there, Chris?
Oh my gosh.
Where were we? Number 5, both can be themed to match various holidays. Absolutely. Now, we get that definitely with Tim Hortons. You guys get that at your local donutteries?
Oh, yes.
The donuts. Awesome. Number 6, the best part is the hidden treasure inside. Number 7, it is...
Not going there.
I just thought I'd lob that softball and see what happens. Number 7, it is always a hard decision to choose which one to go for. Donut-wise, yep. Number 8, when you find them, they will often have little things sprinkled on top. I'm assuming we use like camo, like geo sticks and such. All right.
I hope so.
Number 9, you will often find them covered with a glaze. You know, this list has just taken a completely different direction than the first time I read it. All right. Number 10.
Mr. Burks isn't even here.
I know. I'm trying to fill some shoes. Number 10, it is better to be first to find it. Yeah, I don't think I want to be second to find a donut.
No.
All right. Number 11, both will turn to mush if left soaking too long. True. And number 12, they both come in a variety of sizes and flavors. There you go.
So that was his first one. I like that. And then he came back and topped it off.
There you go. You want me to keep going?
Yeah, why don't you keep going? You're doing well.
Well, not really, but I'll keep going. All right. The next half dozen. The bigger they are, the better they are. When smaller than an inch or two, they are not quite as satisfying. They both will have an impact.
Let me just throw these out.
I'm going to say right now, I didn't write these. So they both will have an impact on your health. One is just not enough. You often wake up in the morning craving one. I held it together as long as I could. And they both go well with a hot cup of coffee, tea, or chocolate. And that is very true. All right. And
all right. So Starcatcher, I think, broke all of the hosts.
Yes, that's it. Thank you. It was a great show.
All right.
That was great. Okay. I don't know that we're going to be able to top that one. Oh, all right. Mr. Chris of the Northwest.
Oh, the next email we have is from Billy Robson. He says, this is my thought on geocaching is like a donut, a Canadian perspective. A coconut flake donut is like bushwhacking your way through to find a Timbit, which is the geocache.
He is obviously a Canadian.
Hey, obviously. He's a real Canadian. Now, if he had mentioned maple syrup, I mean, we'd hit the trifecta there, but we hit donuts and Timbits.
Well, I did have a Timmy's Canadian maple today, so.
Ooh. Now, I have to ask, as a Canadian, is it required that you have a Timmy's donut every day? I mean, is that one of the rights as a Canadian citizen?
Well, there's a difference between a requirement and a right, and it is definitely our right as a Canadian citizen to have Timmy's every day. But it's not a requirement.
Well, I've been told many times by the folks at the border that we're not allowed to cross back in, as Americans, cross back to the U.S. until we've made at least one purchase at a Timmy's. But it doesn't have to be a donut. We could have coffee.
Yeah, well, that's how we keep the franchise in business.
I figured because there's so many of them, it's worse than like McDonald's or Starbucks.
Better.
Through mandatory purchases from visiting expatriates. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, I've been in some portions of Canada where the cash saturation limits would definitely limit the number of Tim Hortons that they actually do have.
There's spaces, yes.
Yeah, wow. They are very tight together in some cases. Anyway, so the next submission came from Stephen W54, and he was one of the GeoCoin winners. He got that time zone coin. So that's going to be going out to him in the mail in the next couple of days. Congratulations. Big, heavy coin.
I looked up that coin. That is a super
cool. It is amazing. It's super
cool coin.
It's like some of the other
it's like
coins
a donut.
that come with. Well, it's a donut that spins.
But it's a donut with multiple holes. It's got all these. It kind of looks like a rotary phone.
It's a Swiss donut.
Oh, Swiss donut, yes.
Crunchy, very crunchy.
Oh, la, 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 la. Okay, Rack Chuck, you want to take this one though?
Yes, I would love to take it. Okay, so Stephen W54 says, I would say that geocache containers are like donuts. Both can be purchased at stores, but a homemade one can be extra special.
And before the show, you were talking about a little donut shop that made very special donuts.
Yeah, well, but just being from Kansas City, there's a little store there that I've grown up with. It's thankfully still around. It's just a mom and pop operation. Literally, it's just I've only seen mom and pop there. I've been going to the store for over 30 years probably, and yeah, it's just it's there's it can be nice when you have a place like say Dunkin' Donuts, for instance, or Timmy Ho's or whatever, where you know what you're going to get. There's a familiarity with it, whichever store you go to. But there's also something really nice about having that unique, one of a kind place where you can only get just that taste that you're looking for from that one spot. So I imagine we each have a place like that we like to revisit every so often.
Well, you'd think it was into donuts more with the way we've been talking about donuts, but I really don't eat many donuts.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a daily part of my diet.
No. But I don't even have the place that I used to like as a kid closed up, decades ago, and since then I go to like Dunkin' every so often. The kids love Krispy Kreme, so we go there every so often. Watch The Machine. But
The Machine is the whole reason to go to Krispy Kreme.
Yeah. If it wasn't for The Machine, it's like, no, let's just skip Krispy Kreme. But I do have a couple of the little like family-owned donut shops that I keep meaning to go and check out. I've yet to do it though.
Can't get past Krispy Kreme.
No, it's I can't get past their donuts, and I don't want a donut.
All right, so why is Daryl still on the show tonight?
Yeah, I was going to say, with that, I'm getting kicked off.
I think you just got kicked off, Daryl.
See, the dog likes donuts though, and I did an entire cache, an intercache, based on my dog's love of donuts. It was kind of funny. Anyway, so next we have JR and Juju that emailed. As I sit here with a dozen maple dunkers, I think of all the reasons geocaching is like a donut. Could it be that, like an overly sweet donut, finding a geocache gives you a quick high? Or maybe geocaching is like a donut, has its highs and lows, its finds and its DNFs. The best of all,
what the low of a donut would be.
When it's done.
Yeah.
When you get to the
DNF is like when you hear there's donuts in the break room, but you get there and they're all gone.
Or it's just the crumbs.
Just the crumbs. And who's the person who takes the knife and cuts a little bit of the donut and leaves the rest of it for people to fend? That's just wrong. You eat, you take a donut, you take the whole donut. Don't leave pieces of it behind.
So you're talking like a D&D, did not donut?
Did not donut, yeah.
The best of all, I think geocaches and donuts both come in many different flavors and types. You can go from your generic glazed covered park and grab to the ultimate cream-filled multi-stage gadget cache.
Wow.
There you go. The whole spectrum of donut caching.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to go caching with him because I don't really want that cream-filled gadget cache.
Yeah, but it's a multi-stage, so you're only having a little at a time. Just a bite here and there.
What could go
as
wrong?
you work through. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm thinking, getting that cream all over yourself as you try to log it at multiple stages. There's just no cleaning up.
Right. Or maybe it's just a metaphor.
So you're getting sticky metaphor all over yourself?
That's not where I was going, Daryl. But
right.
Oh, we have no idea where you're going anymore, Land Monkey.
You guys just always assume things. I don't know.
Do we? Do we really? All right. Mr. Chris of the Northwest, once again, would you like to take R. Reagan, who actually sent us a very, very cool photo, too?
Yes. Let's quickly describe this photo. This is obviously a donut shop. And on the ceiling, there's a donut in this donut shop. Now, it's a piece of art, but the thing has to be 8 feet across, is what it looks like. It's huge. So I don't know if I would sit right underneath that. I might, line up under the hole in case the thing fell down. Then I'd be, surrounded by donut.
Yeah, then you'd be stuck in a donut.
Yeah. So R. Reagan says geocaching is like a donut because you always want one more. And then he goes on to describe the different types of geocaches and what they would be as donuts. You got your traditional, that's your basic donut. The multi is 2 or more donuts. The virtual is the donut your friend ate when you looked away. Letterbox is that pink box full of donuts. Mystery is a donut with an unknown filling. Earth Cache, you like this one, Land Monkey. The donut you drop on the ground. Sad. So yes, you could go have a geocaching event under a giant donut.
I saw the pictures. That is pretty crazy.
I'm gonna have to figure out what city that giant donut is in.
That was actually one of the events that he sent the photos from, and I think it's Palo Alto. Actually, I think he's in the chat, and he just confirmed Palo Alto. But I have to say that list of the donuts to caches, probably one of the best entries we got.
Yeah, it is very good.
And I think the script got interrupted there because I believe it does continue with a few more Where I Go webcam event. But I would just have to say on the topic of the Earth Cache donut that the next thing you need to do after picking it up off the earth is to now examine the rocks that have adhered to the icing and let us know, are they igneous, metamorphic, or sedimentary, and how far is the donut from your mouth, and how did the rocks taste? And you have to answer those questions before submitting your log.
You're right. It does go on to Where I Go. Wow. Why to the donut shop, of course. And the webcam, that's the chocolate donut cam.
Okay.
There's apparently a camera shaped like a chocolate donut. And of course, why wouldn't there be?
Well, yeah, why not?
And the final one sent in by R. Reagan is the event when you and your friends gather to enjoy donuts.
Excellent. And here in Canada, we have what we call a mega event, which is when you fill a Tim Hortons full of geocachers and all the regulars give you dirty looks because you took their tables.
Nice. I'll have to look for one of those megas.
Yeah. You don't get the mega souvenir for it, just to clarify that. It's a Canadian mega.
Canadian mega.
There's no souvenir for the Canadian megas?
No, we don't get anything.
No, that's the M of the mega with the Canadian flag in the background. It doesn't really count.
Yep. It's 3/4 of an American mega.
Yeah. With the exchange rate.
That's right.
Oh boy.
All right.
Well, Tick Magnet has the next one, which he run the other geocoin from coinsandpins.com. And this is that cool, crazy chameleon. Now, the sad thing is, both of these coins are sold out. We can't get them anymore.
Isn't that a song, The Crazy Chameleon?
I think you might have the lyrics wrong. But
maybe they're sold out, but I hear they come and they go.
Well, they came and they went. Okay. I don't know if they're going to cycle back again. If there's enough interest, they probably would. Yeah. Anyway, so Tick Magnet wrote, just like a donut, once you've tried a geocache, you want another and another and another and the end. Well, that's not really true when it comes to geocaching and donuts. There is no end. So he has his own vicious cycle apparently starting. Maybe there's a 12-step program for that. Mm-hmm. We always used to joke, way back when about Geocache Anonymous.
It doesn't actually exist?
No, well, we had a couple of events out here that were named that.
That's funny.
Oh, in the chat, Limax is saying, the donut that you drop on the ground, that Earth Cache donut, it's more like a glacial erratic. To which R. Reagan says it's more like a glazdal erratic.
Nice. Yeah, you're not allowed to create Earth caches of those anymore, though. The Glazdale erratics.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Or waterfalls.
They won't approve them. Yep. But I'd say still try.
What if you can't find the glacial erratic?
The Glazdale erratic.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, because it's covered with plants. That's the one you're thinking of behind the coffee shop.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, no, the Glazdale erratic is behind the donut shop.
Oh, okay.
The Glazdale erratic is behind the coffee shop.
It's in the parking lot as you tripped and fell and dropped an entire dozen donuts right there in the parking lot.
That's right.
And now a Bengal song is coming into my head, which we'll have to eliminate immediately by going to
the donut shop.
Yeah, well, let's go on to Sim Rebel. And Rock Jock, you want to take this one?
Sure. So Sim Rebel writes, geocaching is like a donut because we're doing donuts, going around in circles when we are trying to find a cache, and donuts go with coffee, and caching goes with coffee.
I do like my coffee when I'm caching.
Donuts go with everything.
Yeah, I suppose they do, because I've seen a lot of people, especially when I was in college, mowing on Krispy Kremes and drinking Jolt Cola.
Ooh,
Sounds like
I remember Jolt Cola.
Yeah, it was a programmer's crowd.
Really?
Well, do you know anyone else but programmers who do Jolt?
No, that was, sysadmins, but I mean, kind of the same.
It's okay. Computer guys. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Awesome.
Do you do any of those highly caffeinated drinks? I mean, more than energy drinks. They have some highly caffeinated ones. The ones I'm thinking of come in a blue bottle.
Oh, I know the ones you're talking about. Yeah, I can't say the last time I've actually seen those, but I've seen the photos of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
oh, you know what? They actually have them at the Micro Center near here.
Do they?
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me, actually.
No, nor does it me, but I had to think about it.
Is it a micro center hanging in a cedar tree?
Did anyone happen to see the suggestion from R. Reagan in the chat?
For the new event type?
Yeah, I think you have a new mission this next week, Rock Chalk.
Oh, I didn't see it. What was the?
He's suggesting a donut stag.
Oh,
stock.
Of course. Oh, yes.
Donut stock.
I'm going to get right on that.
The new worldwide event.
I think there would be a lot of appeal.
So do
sure.
I.
That is very funny. And just, throw another little bit of Canadiana in there. There are a number of Canadian Donnerstag events that are taking place at Tim Hortons. And the idea is that you bring a skewer and put all your Timbits on a skewer.
Oh, I can't wait for the photos. Send us photos.
Donnerstag. Yeah. Yeah, yes, definitely send photos into the podcasts. We definitely want to see that.
Oh, very nice. All right. So yeah, that actually wraps up all of the feedback that we have.
That wasn't an awkward pause at all. That was great.
No, sorry, I was confused by our notes in the show notes.
By the large gap in the show notes.
Well, the hole in the center of the.
Yeah, I see what happened and how I missed those.
This has been.
Oh man!
Thank you for.
This is
bringing us in to talk donuts and geocaching.
Well, I was very curious to see how people would relate the two, and I think we've got some really good answers in here.
Creative cachers out there for sure.
Yeah, we've got the obvious stuff like the going around and around, and we've got the caching to each donut, the geocache type to each donut.
That was clever.
The addiction. I think Limax is calling for pizza, so maybe next year's show we do how pizza is like caching, or caching.
How pizza is like a donut. Oh wait, we're going the wrong way.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've seen some of those weird creations, and I wouldn't doubt that there is a pizza donut or a donut pizza.
Or donut pizza. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all. As Chris and I know, there's a donut shop, a donut chain out here in the Seattle area called Legendary Donuts. And they do, shall we say donut cakes, I think is what they call them. There's one that looks like a hamburger with fries. It's all donuts, of course. And you can get the King Kong. That's an 11-pound donut.
Why?
It's a raised donut ring that weighs over 4 pounds with 3 pounds of crispy bacon and 4 pounds of maple frosting.
Ooh.
Great for football games.
That just sounds terrible.
Yeah. I haven't really got on board with the whole bacon on everything.
It's because you're Canadian.
Yeah, well, I love bacon, but I like bacon where bacon belongs.
But it's Canadian bacon. It's not real bacon. Uh-oh. I apologize. I've angered the monkey.
Another show to do yet tonight, Chris.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was coming back and saying I apologize.
Yeah, but one of the things that I found interesting is the number of people who are talking about the events at donut shops. And we definitely had a number of people writing in about their local breakfast events at a donut shop, and even some for like dessert. Like I think our Reagan's was actually kind of like a dessert event.
Well, I mean, with the donut shops being open 24/7, you can. It's a very convenient spot for events. And who doesn't love donuts?
Well, most of the donut shops around here aren't really 24/7. Is that fairly common out there?
Yes. Like the Krispy Kremes. Well, that's all we really have around here. Then we've got the little... We no longer have a Dunkin' Donuts in the areas that I know of.
Oh?
Is that true up there, Chris? Do you know any Dunkin' Donuts in the Seattle area?
I mean... Maybe there's one around, but it's nothing in my normal stomping grounds.
Yeah. I remember Winchell's. There used to be Winchell's in the area. That was another one that has gone by the wayside. Krispy Kreme pretty much locked up the donut market for the, mass-produced franchise stores.
Yeah, I think Krispy Kreme out here is 24/7, but there's not all that many of them. We had more, and they closed a good portion of them down.
I was going to suggest that donut shops make a great place for an event as well, because while I also love going to events at pubs, you can't bring kids. So a donut shop, anybody can go. So, in the true spirit of geocaching, I think it's a great place to host an event.
Well, and it's a great wrap up for your day if you're going to do the dessert kind of thing. Go out caching, have a donut event. And we do a lot of the meet and greets around here where it's intentionally set in this area because there's caches that people haven't been doing. So it gets people out to a new area to go find caches.
So sorry, they open a donut shop in an area because there's caches that aren't being... Wow.
Yes, exactly.
Chris, you guys at Geocaching HQ have way more power than I thought you guys did. That's impressive.
There's not a lot of people finding these caches over here. Go open a donut shop. Okay.
Well, we actually did a coffee, like a coffee house crawl kind of thing one year going up the St. Clair River. So originally it was planned on 4 events, I think, but we couldn't make that work. So we had 3 events instead. And people loved it because you had breakfast at one, you had lunch at another, and you had the dinner at the last one. And there was plenty of time in between to get most of the caches in the area.
So, okay, I understand the breakfast, but what kind of lunch donut and dinner donut did you have?
Well, these were coffee shops. They weren't donut shops. Unfortunately, there was only one donut shop. Well, no, that's not true. There were Tim Hortons in 2 of the cities. But I don't think that we had anything else. Yeah, it was the 2, and then there's this one. It's one of those cool little, greasy donut places that's only open from, I think, 4 to 10, 4 a.m. to 10 a.m.
You really know how to sell the donut place, Daryl.
Well,
I want to go now.
Okay, it's on the bay, okay? And it's open from 4 to 10. I think you can figure out, and this is a bay that freezes over. Think you can figure out their clientele.
All right.
Early morning people who enjoy deep fried pastry?
Nah, probably not so much. It's probably early morning guys who are taking the 2 dozen donuts and a couple cases of beer onto the ice and sitting there and throwing things into holes.
Geocaching.
Yeah, they're not geocachers.
Oh, okay. So I've been doing this wrong for the last 5 years.
Only people like Scott Burks go caching at 4 a.m. and have those LEO encounters.
Right.
And he wonders why he has them.
And why he gets kicked out of states.
And you would think that if he has donuts, that would, take care of that problem.
See, okay, I think we've come up with a good reason to carry donuts with you every time you go caching. You always have to stop and get a fresh dozen donuts so that when you have that LEO encounter, you have something to offer the hungry officer.
Donuts, the new LEO.
You're not bribing them. You're just, offering them food so they're not as angry.
This is not a bribe.
It might just be a low blood sugar situation they're dealing with and not necessarily anger.
Exactly.
It's all right. We wouldn't like them when they're angry.
Meanwhile, Rock Chalk is being very, very quiet.
I'm just observing. It's a lot to take in.
He's like, what did I sign up for? Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
You guys have more shows coming up?
Well, yes, we do. You know what?
This isn't the last one?
That's a great segue. Thank you very much. And, like donuts that you buy in larger quantities, we have shows coming up in large quantities. Next week, April 6th, we're doing a second show on pocket queries. You're not going to want to miss that. April 13th, we're doing our road caching show. Now, these have been very popular. This happens to be our 11th one with Tentament, or Tent Man Tent. I think it's Tentament, but I like to say Tent Man Tent because, well, anyway. April 20th, storytelling and geolocation with Patient Rock. Is that a rock with a lot of patience? Or is it a different type of music that I'm not familiar with? Let's have some Patient Rock music. Yeah. April 27th, we're doing an old fogey. Actually, the geocacher's name is Old Fogey. And we'll be talking to him about some of his great hides.
Yeah, that's another one that was recommended as one of those really awesome hiders. So I'm looking forward to it. And he's probably going to talk a lot about doing, I think it was GeoArt that he's working on like right now. So he's going to share some of his experiences with that. But thank you once again, Chris and Jay, for joining us and enjoying our Donity show.
It's always a pleasure, and it was tastier than usual this time.
Well, like a true donut, I think I was a little bit of the glazing, but the true sweet surprise in the middle, that was Rock Chalk.
Oh, I'm overwhelmed.
And with the way the show has been going, I'm going to leave it at that. And also, thank you, Chris, as always, for joining me and almost every week being on the show and dealing with whatever insanity ensues.
I'm just having a glazed look.
All right, so check the Cache Maniacs website at cachemaniacs.com for more on the GeoGearHeads, including show notes for this and all of our episodes. We love hearing from our listeners, so leave us feedback by emailing GeoGearHeads at cachemaniacs.com or through social media. Your support helps keep the Cache Maniacs shows coming. Please consider becoming a patron through the link on our website to support the Cache Maniacs shows. GeoGearHeads is produced by Chris Offenauer and Daryl Wanberg, This show is copyright 2017 by Daryl Wanberg. All rights reserved.
Cash with a cash media.